Turn to Glory podcast. Hunter Garbanicki, Austin Rose, Dakota Freetag. Immediate reaction to the Nebraska-Michigan game just ended probably less than 2 minutes ago. Michigan takes one on the road, 49-46. Yes, 49-46 was the final score.
And that's with free throws at the end, boosting those numbers.
Either team can make a lick all night. Layups, it did not matter. Layups, outside shots, mid-range, nothing. Neither team can make anything.
Do you credit good defense to that?
It can be both.
Yes. I thought Nebraska played really good defense, actually, especially that second half. Like, Michigan didn't have – I don't remember many wide-open shots Michigan had. There was a couple they hit at the end there, but they defended really well, both teams.
I probably agree, but there's also part of it. So if you just start hitting in shots, your defense is going to look pretty good.
I initial thoughts like that would have been the big one to mark off and help not quite lock but seal the deal for a tourney bid. And like Michigan's a good team, they're not great. I think it's frustrating some of the things we do on offense at times still, but in that game, I mean, we defended our asses off. Michigan did not look like the number, whatever, they were 15 team in the country by any means. So I don't know. I'm like mixed emotions of we played so well, but yet that was a game that, gosh, if it would have just, I mean, we had opportunities there late. Essien had a great look.
Great shot.
Not too long earlier, Bryce Williams had a great look on the baseline on an inbounds play that, I mean, you talk about guys that normally make those kind of shots. Now to say the same thing, both, like Dak said, both teams were missing like point blank shots at the rim as well.
And Garrett was 0 for 10.
And
but how about
got one up at the end too?
Yeah. At the end of both halves, though, how did they get Burke a wide open three? Well, not wide, but a good three, both ends of halves.
I mean, he's the kind of guy you want, though, right? Like he's the athletic but tall, super athletic, but just mobile big man that can still shoot a three and have a chance of it going in. I mean, that was impressive too from Hoiberg to get those up. Mm-hmm. It's a tough one to lose. It stings, because it really could have been the one that
sealed it.
Chalked it up, but now we still here. I still think we got to win two more probably. I think we got some very, not ranked teams. So, but it's a Big Ten, right? Like it's Indiana beats Purdue. Indiana's now back in the bubble conversation. We do have that head-to-head over them, so that helps. It's just one of those leagues that every night's going to be tough, regardless of where you're at, and taking advantage of your home games is huge. And we didn't tonight, but we did play a ranked team and battled with them all night.
Gosh, I think even if you win two, it's not. If we beat Michigan, I feel like it's almost a lock. But even if we win two, I don't think it's a lock.
I don't know. They had him as a 10 seed tonight. I don't think they drop. They might drop to an 11 seed projection after this game, but I think for sure 2 you are a lock. Now the big one is Minnesota home. You cannot lose that one because that will drop you big time because Minnesota is not good.
Yeah, for sure. And it being at home.
Yeah.
I would anticipate us being 5-6 point favorites in that one, especially being at home. Back to this Michigan game. We haven't talked basketball officials. Let's talk basketball officials.
What do you want to talk about, Hunter?
How do we think the officials were tonight?
Not good.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I thought it was an average performance. You know, there are moments you're frustrated, but I'm sure if you're a Michigan fan, there are also moments you're frustrated.
I mean, there's a reason why it was so low scoring. It was the offense too, but the refs let them play.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think especially basketball officials. I mean, there's so many calls in the game. It was a physical bloodbath.
Yeah.
Especially on rebounds. I mean, you watch some of those. I mean, replays that balls were going out of bounds. I mean, just looking at those in slow motion, but that was happening all game, especially on when the shot goes up. Like guys were just drilling each other, which. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of bodies flying around. That's how the game was called. It was consistent both ways, I thought.
Well, yeah. Then you look at the free throws. Michigan had 13. We had 12. You know, like it's not.
And I think the first free throws came in the first half, like 13 or 14 minutes into the game. Mm-hmm. Like it was, and that's fine. I don't think there's any complaint on how they called the game. That's just that type of game that was called tonight. And I mean, obviously by some of those guys that have done a lot of Big Ten games over the years. So just the way it was.
The question is, I guess, do those games favor us or not? I mean, our offense kind of lives with the free throw line a little bit with Bryce. But also our offense isn't great, so we need to keep them low scoring so then we have a better physical defense.
Yeah, I think it really favors Nebraska because you're not gonna get or win any shootouts with this team.
Right, but we're not going to win shootouts with anyone. All of our points, not all of our points, but a lot of our points come from driving to the basket, getting free throws.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think defensively our no middle effort based type philosophy definitely you gain more when you're able to. I mean, any defense gains more when you're allowed to be more physical, but I think ours especially helps with that. I just felt like offensively, we just could not get anything going inside the 3-point line. I mean, Michigan's got 2 7-footers. Like, I get that, and that
makes can't get anything going outside the 3-point line either.
And then when you're not making shots, like
6 for 28,
it doesn't bode well.
Yeah, I also don't think Nebraska's shot selection was very good on that. Like, Burke was throwing up terrible shots around the rim and stuff, and Juwan was just driving in the rim, throwing up crap too. And then Morgan. See, I think Morgan was getting just destroyed down low every night every time he went up for a basket. And they called a couple of them, but he was getting just decked all night.
It was physical, like at the rim, and right. Juwan does that, and Juwan's very good at knowing how to get contact.
Yeah.
In like there, I mean, it's just officiating, right? If there's a 50-50 call on one end against you, like when you have the ball, you go attack because you're getting the next 50-50 call. And Juwan usually, I mean, he's good at identifying when those opportunities are. And he did that a couple times tonight, but they weren't calling anything at the rim. I mean, every 50-50 was not a foul. And again, not that anything wrong with that. It's just the way the game was called. But that takes someone like Juwan Gary kind of out of the game when that's what his strength is at the rim, rebounds, finishing, drawing fouls around there. And when you put 2 7-footers, it makes it hard for him to have an impact on the game. And Bryce did his thing when he needed to. It just felt like, especially their late second half, when Michigan went on their 8-0 run to take the 6-point lead, offensively, we just weren't getting anything productive.
You look at the game, and we got the open 3-point shot we needed with whatever it was, 3 seconds left in the game.
We crawled our way back, and we did, and it was there. Like, and Asesian has had another rough night. Like, I don't know. Part of me does want Bryce to attack there at the end. But hell, you can't complain about Asesian getting your best 3-point shooter getting a wide open uncontested 3 because it wasn't really completely uncontested, but pretty damn close.
It was pretty damn close.
Yeah. I mean, late closeout for sure. And Bryce was attacking it with he didn't have numbers. I mean, it would have been 1 on 2 or 3. I don't know that refs would have bailed him out on anything there. So I mean,
3 points.
Yep.
We were down 3.
We were down 1 at that point. We were down 1.
Oh, you're right. We were only down 1 at that point.
I don't know about you guys, but it feels like Season's been off for quite a while here. To me, I feel like he has. I
feel that way about everyone on offense outside of Bryce.
Yeah.
Connor's very. I mean, a lot of those guys. Connor's very streaky. I think, in those games that we win, not just him, but we see production out of different guys. He's one of them that needs to be a little more consistent for us to win some games here down the stretch. I would say he's a big one offensively. Some of those other guys aren't offensive players, and that's well known to the team too. I think Raleigh, I don't know if he wants to be or he's been told or coached, and that's kind of his thought. He just seems to be a little more aggressive, which I'm not a huge fan of, but that might be just that's the next person that needs to be out there to create, especially with Berke being coming off an injury, not playing the past few games. Obviously rough today in his first game back. I don't know who that next person is. It's got to be Connor on offense, for sure. It's who it's got to be. But when he's not there, I mean, where's next? I don't know.
Also, not game related. So it's supposed to be a blackout tonight in PBA. The student section did well, but if you saw shots of the rest of the arena, it's like, come on, guys. We could have. It was a pretty weak blackout outside of the student section. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I didn't look too close, but we gotta sync the jerseys up. We gotta sync them up with the. I know we were the home team.
I'm sure you could wear black jerseys at home.
Well,
I just think Nebraska does a terrible job at color outs. They're just
Saturday's supposed to be a stripe out.
What, Dak?
Saturday's supposed to be a stripe out, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Are you going?
Oh yeah. Yep. They never play on Saturdays. They finally are going to play on Saturday. I got to go to that. But
halftime entertainment's a baby race, so get your ones ready for the gambling.
I was gonna say Dak should join him.
Yeah, I'll go out there. I'll go out there. Probably lose.
No kidding.
I don't know. Any other initial Michigan thoughts?
I don't know. Michigan was only favored by 1.5. We played them as well as we could have. Obviously, our offense wasn't clicking, but I don't think any of us thought we were going to win. I guess I should say that. I didn't think we were going to win. I expected us to lose. I thought it would be tight and us to lose at the end, and that's kind of where it ended up, which makes sense. I mean, they're a really good team.
I don't know. I thought there was one guy. I know he didn't do much offensively, but I thought Mia defended his ass off against their 7. What's their 7-footer's name from? God, I can't. He came with Dusty May. What's his name?
I know. Yeah, I don't know his name, but
anyway, Mia defended his ass off against him. I thought
that's what's hard though is Mia is a great defender, but
he doesn't know.
He's just so clumsy on the offensive end, and he's not a threat outside of literally inside 5 feet. Like that's what's challenging. I think one of the things, not sure if you guys heard this, but that Fred said going into this week was basically trying to cut his playbook in half on offense. Just like
what you want to hear going into the last week of the year.
No, yes and no. I think his concern was that there's so much stuff that they're shortening it and fine tuning to execute the stuff that they like the most here late in the year. I mean that's the approach or the take that I got out of it was they had so much stuff in that like they weren't focusing on being good at anything. It was just they kept adding. So like I don't
Marcus Satterfield move, Fred. Classic Marcus Satterfield move.
Yeah, boy, if he cut that playbook in half tonight, it showed.
Yeah, no kidding. This is what we do with half a playbook. Can you imagine what we do with a full playbook?
Yeah, wait till that full playbook comes out.
I knew he lost a second with the TV show, Dylan.
Yeah.
Don't bring Husker football into basketball games. Keep it away. Keep it away. Separate the two.
Can't.
You could tell though that crowd was ready to get rocking, but
oh man, when Connor missed that shot at the end, you could just feel like they were ready to just absolutely freaking lose it. And there's
it was such a good look. Oh.
It was so good.
Good part is it was a close loss to a ranked team. I don't think it hurts. I mean, it'll be interesting to see tomorrow what they come out as.
We won't be out, but it just moves you closer to that bubble line.
Yeah, you don't want to be in there.
You don't want to be in that bubble line. I think you do. You take care of Minnesota and Iowa, and that Ohio State game kind of becomes a cherry on the top.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to do that. I don't think this game changes your opinion on either one of those two games. It doesn't. It just maybe even makes you feel better that we didn't get blown out by a ranked team. But you take care of business, do what you're supposed to, and not that we're for sure gonna win or blow them out, but be a small favorite and play well. Like I think we're gonna be in a good position, and we should. I think are we locked into making the Big Ten tournament? I think top 15 make it, so I think we're pretty dang close.
I thought we were locked.
How many teams are in the Big Ten? 18?
I think the bottom 4 don't make it, I think. So, I mean, you get that opportunity as well.
If we are 7-10 in conference play, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with records worse than 7-10. 3 of them 6-10 though. So I don't think we're locked. If we lose our next 3, we're out.
It just
don't do that. I mean, ideally,
it just makes you go back and look at like that USC game, and then there was one more in there where you're like, you wish you could win those. That 6-game stretch is going to kill you if you don't make it.
Yeah, there's the Rutgers at home we lost by 3.
Yep, that one.
Maryland we lost by 3. The USC at home we lost by 5, and then the Iowa game on the road that we lost by 10 in overtime.
St. Mary's by 4 or St. Mary's by 3.
Yeah,
Purdue by 45.
Purdue by 45. Michigan State at some point lost by probably 45.
A lot of those are like the blowouts. I'm like, okay, like we clearly did not show up to play and don't deserve to win that game anyway. So it is what it is.
Hey, at least you woke Penn State up, though.
Yeah. Is that good?
No. No, but everything they beat you, I don't think they've lost. They're just killing teams now.
Oh, any pre or early favorites that you guys like that you're looking at for your brackets for the March Madness?
I was just talking about this at work today, and I was like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I feel like Florida seems like a good one for me personally, but like it's a real crapshoot. There isn't any team that's dominating like it has the last couple of years.
I mean, have you guys really gotten to college basketball this year much? I always try to. This year, I have not watched that much.
I haven't really watched a lot. No, I mean, I'll watch highlights and I keep up with scores and records.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say I don't get into it till now though. Like,
yep.
I follow the Huskers, and then once football season's over, you flip the page to watching college basketball now because that's all that's on. So now is kind of the time where I do start watching, the end of the year. Like right now, I got Texas Tech, Houston on. I knew both those teams are decent, but this is one thing that I kind of like looking at, and I think the guy on Twitter, his name's Ryan Hammer. He has this chart called the Trapezoid of Excellence, and it ranks everybody on a pace scale So slow pace to fast pace, and I'm not sure exactly what that stat is. And then their net rating from high to low. And what it does is it basically groups a bunch of teams, and then there's this trapezoid at the top, where it has and a lot of times it makes sense. Like your top teams in the country are a part in this trapezoid, but I think the stat is like every tournament winner in the past like 26 years or something like that has fit in this trapezoid. And there's like 7 or 8 teams in it this year. Duke, Houston, Tennessee, Texas Tech, Florida, Gonzaga, Maryland, and Auburn are the ones right now that are kind of sitting in that line.
I mean, Duke has probably the best player.
Yep. I was going to, sadly, I'd say my favorite going into it would be Duke. I mean, they just throttled Illinois.
They did throttle Illinois.
How about that? Illinois says, hey, let's play in this neutral site game in the middle of February, late season. Like, let's have this, charity game, and what's the worst thing that could happen? Get beat by 40. Oh, that was funny. It's fun. I don't know. It's a fun thing to look at because like teams like Alabama, obviously from a pace metric, are like very, very high, but their net rating isn't quite there. Illinois, Kentucky, and are 2 other teams kind of in that category. Then you have teams like, your Villanovas, your Virginias, Minnesota's another one that's over there. Who's this? Drake. And
okay, Drake's really good actually.
But they don't have a high in it, or they're too slow. Like, I don't know. It's fun to look at. Like, and it changes throughout the year. Like teams that control the pace but adjusted for their net. So I don't know. I'm a big Bruce Pearl fan. I like him a lot. So I root for Auburn. I don't know why, but I just find myself watching games and rooting for Auburn. Another team that I find myself rooting for is Texas Tech. I don't know why, but I do.
Guns up.
Not sure.
Texas Tech had that good run a couple of years ago. I guess I don't know how many years ago that was.
And there's always a team you can't count out in Michigan State. I think they're actually really good this year. But Izzo, this time of year, he just starts cooking.
Yeah, they're playing well. I mean, last year I think they were the 9th seed in the Big Ten tournament, believe it or not.
Yeah, and then they won.
Still made it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't they go on a little run there? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If I had to say who's gonna win it all right now, I'd say Duke.
Does that pain you to say? Do you Duke
I'm
fan?
Not, well, nah. I mean, I don't hate him as much as I did before Coach K left, but no. Haven't watched much of them either. I need to. Need to start watching more college basketball.
The NBA is pretty good.
Who?
NBA is pretty good. I don't know if I need to watch more college basketball. I'll watch Nebraska in the tournament.
I do. I get into college basketball heavy here for about the next month. I am locked in. Because I know I got NBA after that when playoffs come.
That's true.
We got college football still. At least as much as we can make it.
The slimmest of college football.
Well, the big breaking news and coming out of Lincoln, or maybe out of Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're Chattanooga, aren't they?
I think it's Knoxville.
Is it?
Well, our games scheduled for 26 and 27 against Tennessee have been canceled, not postponed, but completely canceled. I think Tennessee first announced it, broke the news. Is it their AD? Is it Danny White, their AD? Or is that just a media guy? I don't know. Was very upset with it in his post. Basically kind of blaming us. And then we posted, our 2 cents on it. Said it was due to stadium renovations. I know a lot there. This is just where we are with the football team and the football season, the off season, but there's a lot of opinions about this one way or the other. it's the talk of the week. So what are your thoughts?
I saw a theory that Troy Dannon was just trying to get out of it because he believes the Big Ten and SEC are going to start doing like conference rivalry, cross-conference rivalry, kind of like the ACC SEC challenge or ACC Big Ten challenge. They're going to do that. And so they're going to automatically schedule those SEC teams. So he wanted to get rid of the Tennessee game and then lock in some lower, easier opponents before the SEC Big Ten conference. That's a theory. That is a move to get an easier win on the schedule before having to play another SEC team that year.
It sucks. I get how much money they're going to make having another home game, but would you rather watch them play Tennessee or who the hell, Bowling Green they got now or something like that? It sucks. And I would have probably went Tennessee. That would have been awesome. No. Now we got to watch Bowling Green.
Dak, you have probably the typical Husker fan's opinion with that. I'm glad you did, because I think most people would say, well, I wanted, and I'm not going to lie, Tennessee would have been cool to go to.
Oh, yeah.
But guys, we got to do everything we can to get the most wins on our schedule, and Tennessee's not a win. Especially when I looked at someone's picks to win it all the next 2 years, and some guy had Tennessee in 2026. I said, fuck that. Like, we don't need to be playing. I get it. Like, people will say, I want to play the toughest competition. We need to play a challenging opponent in the non-conference. I get it, but actually I don't get it. I don't think that's true. Not in today's 12-team college football playoff. And that's, some people are accusing Nebraska of trying to get the Indiana schedule. Why the hell wouldn't you want to get the Indiana schedule? They got it.
They played in the playoffs, and teams that had tough schedules, some of them didn't.
I just think in the current format, and obviously all the unknowns, Austin brought up theory number 1 of 90 that could happen. Like, it's smart. We don't need to be playing an extra opponent and use whatever freaking excuse you can get. I mean, use stadium renovations. Say that. I don't care. Like, Tennessee, why does Tennessee want to play them? Because for them, it's a quote unquote tougher opponent that they know they will be favored against and most likely have a good chance to win. Like, no shit, you'd want to play us right now. No, I don't know. I thought it was super smart. Whoever made the decision or however it got decided, very smart on Nebraska's part. Clearly, it was a one-sided decision, what it sounds like, where we have to pay, is it like $1 million, I think, to get out of it, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing.
You're going to make more than that, having that home game.
So, and yeah, Dak, I'd love to watch us beat Bowling Green over losing to Tennessee. You're damn right, I would.
My first thought was, I was like, I don't really care. Like, I'm going to watch us play the game. I'd rather watch us win. And
see, I cared in a positive way. Like, I cared like this is great. Like, I think it's a great move for several reasons. Now, I did hear someone say on a different podcast that they said, let's take a step back and ask ourselves, why do we care about sports and the entertainment and everything? And they're like, well, it's to play games like Nebraska, Tennessee, and bring back. I'm like,
is it?
Maybe. I said maybe as fans, as players, coaches, the whole industry, yeah, it is entertainment. But shit, if you're looking at a one-sided, selfish Nebraska opinion, and I'd much rather give yourselves a little bit better chance of making the college football playoff than getting your ass kicked by Tennessee when you can be playing Ohio and give yourself a pretty good shot. Like, to me, that's more worth it as a fan for an entertainment value perspective. So anyways, that was my 2 cents on it. I think Austin, mentioned the theory of the SEC Big Ten cross matchups that could be coming. I think that could happen. I've also heard ACC Big Ten potential matchups. I've heard Big 12, Big 10, like all in the kind of the same limelight of having cross conference games every year. There's obviously the extreme of the Big 10 and ACC, or Big 10 and SEC doing their own thing and going that route.
We could just get that cross conference matchup and pit us up against Oklahoma. A nice easy W on the schedule would be great.
And it's coming up. They play Oklahoma.
That's true, don't they?
29, I think.
9?
8. Yeah, somewhere in there.
I would not be surprised if games like that also get postponed or canceled. I just think with the way things are going, and people are going to complain and moan and groan about this ever-changing college football world that we live in. Just get used to it. Like that's all I'm going to keep saying is right now the money's gone wild, and wherever the money goes is where everything's going to go. And as much as you can be upset that we're never going to get that's where we're at. That's what it's moving to. And there's really, I don't think anything anybody can do to stop it. Like it's going to just completely look different here in a few years. It's going to change probably over and over until eventually the people that in power are satisfied. And I don't know when or how, what would qualify that to those people. I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, I will say that non-con for 2026, Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota, feels pretty good.
Well, that's good. I mean, to me, that's good. Like, if you want to talk about a year that you could hopefully think, under the current structure, we could go 9-3. That'd be great.
Isn't their Big Ten schedule just brutal though that year?
Who's to say what's brutal?
Yeah, I guess you didn't think Indiana would be that good.
I say Indiana's on here, Maryland, Ohio State, Washington, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan State, Oregon, Rutgers.
I guess, yeah, you never know. I mean, Indiana barely beat Nebraska this year, but yeah, you never know who's going to be good.
Michigan State might be good again by then.
Yeah.
Iowa might fall off a cliff, hopefully.
Yeah, someone made this comment too, that we're lucky that we're, at least in the Big Ten. And someone was like, well, wait a second. If we were still in the Big 12, we might be one of the best teams in the Big 12.
It's true.
As far as just revenue and support and stadium atmosphere, like put us in the Big 12 right now. You're feeling pretty good about Nebraska in that hierarchy of quote unquote power. Now, the Big Ten obviously has all the other media and revenue sharing rights that they have, which also is why we're at where we're at in the Big Ten today. But I think that's also a valid point. And who knows, all this talk about automatic bids now into the playoffs, whether it be 4 teams from SEC, Big Ten, 2 from non-Power 5, like whatever that looks like, I don't know. That's all going to continue to change and evolve. We're in the Big Ten. Like I've also heard the theory, and someone threw this out there, that they could have a mini conference tournament to end the year, where the top 6 teams or whatever of the Big Ten play in a conference tournament for their automatic bids. Or maybe it's the play-in games to get in. Like, there's all this stuff's going to be thrown out there as thoughts over the next few years. So, just hold tight, I guess. It's fun talking about, but it's also kind of exhausting because you could spend hours trying to figure it out, and you're probably never going to get it right. So,
but God, Knoxville would have been fun.
That would have been.
We can still go.
Mm.
Who do they got now? Kent State?
Probably.
Yeah, they.
But doesn't Miami of Ohio sound pretty good too? I guess it's at home.
I mean, a home game would still be fun, but
Yeah, it's true.
Just another Another tailgate pod that we gotta do.
Yep. 2 years down the road. Well, we can't wait for that one. I don't know. Yeah, that's. Do you think it actually was for the money, or were they just like, we got to get out of this? They don't want to play Tennessee.
I think it was all of it. It's like, why are we in this? We're only gonna have 3 non-conference games. If you win 9 games, you have a really good shot at making the playoffs.
I don't know the true reason, but I think it works out for everybody. Like, I don't think we don't want to play Tennessee. We don't want to, as far as winning games and giving yourself a chance to make a run at the college football playoffs sometime. Like, you don't want to play tough opponents in your non-conference when you're already playing a Big Ten schedule. I'm just not a believer in that, especially when you look at teams like Indiana this year with what happened. Like, why would you? Arizona State, Boise State, like look at those teams. Did they stand a chance? Probably not, but they played in it. I guess it's the first step.
There's no point anymore with this 12-team playoff. Like with the 4-team, you want to have those big wins. There's no point in playing big games anymore in your non-con.
I think it's okay.
Well, so what's the update on the Raiola Weight Watch?
I'm glad you brought it up. We got to do our last week of February campaign in here for the DR15 Weight Watchers Challenge. I don't know. Maybe his outfit, maybe he just upped the size in his outfit tonight, but didn't look as tight on him today. That was good. That's good.
He's entering cutting season, man. You know, don't you worry.
He needs it.
Speaking of Raiola, was that just Raiola on TV here at Texas Tech?
Mahomes there.
I think that's who it was. Had to rewind it. Say Raiola made it from Lincoln to Lubbock pretty damn fast. Yep, there he is. Oh boy. Well, any updates on the women? I know they lost on senior night against Washington. They were in the game and then at the end just fell apart.
I haven't looked to see any bracket projections, but they're kind of in the same place as the men on the edge.
Oh, I did. There's one more thing. I did hear, I saw on Twitter that the guy like runs PPA like games, something like that, said the next bid of March Madness games, PPA is a very good shot of hosting the next round.
That would be fun.
That would rock.
Currently,
which I can see it.
It'd be a good spot. It'd be a really good spot.
Yeah.
Currently, ESPN has Nebraska Lady Huskers as one of the last 4 buys.
So. All right, squeaking in. All right. Well, 2 more games and we'll be back next week. And hopefully we're not
sad.
Hoping and praying.
Most fun time of the year is coming up. Got 3 weeks.
Dak, you better cheer loud Saturday.
Yep.
Strike that thing out.
It's I'll be surprised if it's striped out, but it's supposed to be.
Because, like Austin said, we do so well. So
bad at color it. So bad.
I will have a great view of the stripe out if it does happen. I will be way up top.
It also just amazes me because everyone has red. Like most of our games are pretty close to red out, but even if we did a red out, we'd still fuck it up.
Don't places like give you shirts for every chair?
Yeah. In arenas, I don't know if they do at the college level. Professionally, they do.
Creighton did the other night. I know they did Creighton.
That's true. When we went to a pink out, they gave us pink shirts.
Like every chair had it. Like if you want to do it, freaking do. You're telling me that a university like Nebraska can't just buy a bunch of red t-shirts with a freaking N on it if they want to do it, or black with an N on it to do a blackout? Like, come on.
Up
That's
the ticket
true.
price is $5. No one knows what you're upping them $5 for. Throw t-shirts on the freaking chairs.
Not that hard.
Yeah, it's
Yes, we're spending money on quarterbacks.
the Iowa game. You know,
Quarterback.
it's Sunday. That last game of the year again.
I think it's Ohio State's our last one.
I thought it was Iowa
Iowa's the last one. Iowa's our
yeah.
last. Yeah,
on
Ohio
Sunday.
State's on
Yeah.
the road, and then we end
Yep.
at home.
We might need it to get in, so be nuts.
Might have to go that one.
I might go to that one with you.
All right. Let's make a
All
plan.
right. Be back next Monday. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.